the moment we've all been waiting for has arrived. Well, I've been waiting for. And so I just picked flowers, actually, for this particular occasion. And I dried flowers, waiting for this particular occasion to arrive. Let's unbox this in fast motion. Wow. Okay, so we got a big league Catholic saint relic, and this is a second class relic. Although it's not a first class, I still really love it. Okay, a lot of you who haven't found my video before will probably be wondering, what the heck are you talking about? Okay, first class relic is a piece of the saint's body, a fingernail, a piece of the hair, a piece of the skin, a piece of the nail, a piece of the flesh, a piece of the bone. Second class, a piece of something that they actually used in life or wore. Sandals, a hat, a veil, a tunic, a cassock, a pair of sandals. Did I say that? Socks, shoes. You get the gist. Third class. If I take my finger and I touch it to this actually second class relic, now it becomes a third class. Generally, though, it's more for first class relics. If it's a first class relic, which is the most important of all the three, and then you touch something to it, it becomes a third class relic. But I think with second class relics too. So we have Saint Rita right here, Saint Rita, and this is amazing. So this is a part of her vest, or ex indumentus, which in Latin means part of her clothing. And so it could be also a part of her veil. It does not say. Now, mostly these first class and second class relics will come with a guarantee certificate from higher officials in the church, and it will also come with a wax seal on the back. 9 times out of 10, these are orphans, and the certificates have been long gone. From generation to generation, people inherit these and they throw the papers out. Now, to find out if it is the real deal, yes, people sell fakes, and that's a problem. You open up the back. Well, you're not tampering. You're just taking the back part off, and when you screw that off, there should be a stamp. Okay, so just to actually spare my dollar store nail polish, I'm going to show you the actual listing on eBay. And I just got an offer on eBay. Seller offer, $480. Be the first to accept this offer and get 8% off. Yeah, relics are not cheap. And hold on. Yeah, what is the price? It's $520 for this one. This is Saint Maria Goretti. And yeah, I'm not accepting that offer. That's for darn sure. All right, let's find out if this has the wax seal. I think it did have the wax seal. Here's the eBay listing. If we can, will it let me? Come on, man. Oh, there we go. And she did not show it in the pictures. Uh-oh. All right, I have to get the backing off. Okay, this is absolutely insane. I found this tool. I don't know what it was for. And yes, I got it off. I damaged my dollar store nail polish. But it is, okay, here it is. It is the real deal. Let's zoom in. And yup, this is definitely the real deal. It does say something on it. I don't know if we're going to see it. I think it's upside down. Okay, there's a crucifix. Yes, this is actually a real official relic, second class. Now, if those strings are cut, that means it was tampered with and it could possibly be a fake. So be careful of that on eBay. All right, this is not, it's actually, I mean, really filthy. I mean, look how dirty this is. I don't like it. I think that Saint Rita, by the way, I did not tamper with the relic. It is actually still sealed. I think Saint Rita deserves a little better than that, don't you think? Well, we're going to go over the history of Saint Rita, why I picked roses for her, and, oh my God, it almost flew off the table and broke. We don't want that to happen. And why this is like a grand saint. And when I say a grand saint, this isn't just a puny little saint, boys and girls. This is a really amazing relic. So I make my videos very long and drawn out, but I just want to show you the process. SIMICHORME, it's banned in California because they're communists in California. Q-tips, a metal polishing rag with a buffing side. All these things will be in the description beneath the video. You can buy it on Amazon. I can assure you, I'll probably make about 10 cents if you buy this tube of SIMICHORME or this rag, probably about 3 cents. And I got to give tax money to Uncle Sam. So what you do is you just put a little bit of the pink stuff. This cleans all sorts of metals. It cleans silver, copper, golds, stainless steel, chrome, everything. And all right, so you just put a little bit of the pink stuff on this little rag that's supposed to come with polish already on it, but it never does have enough. And since this has like reticulation, the polish is gonna get inside the grooves, and you don't want that to happen. So you're seeing an amazing transformation before your eyes. I'm also gonna clean the glass. So look at this. Do you see that? That's the filth coming off of there. And you can see the spot I just did compared to the spot I didn't do. And so then I'm going to take the Q-tip and get in those little nooks and crannies, and I'll be right back. All right, so Saint Rita is known as the saint of the impossible, much like Saint Jude, but a female version. And her being the patron of the impossible, look how clean this got. Do you see this? Okay, I did not clean the back. You know why? Because a priest must have once anointed it with some kind of holy oil, and I don't want to take that off. All right, so she's also known as the saint of difficult marriages. So when I got into an argument with my husband, I decided to get even with a vendetta, and we'll go over what her story is with vendetta. And I decided I'm going to bid on something on eBay, and I won this. And I beat out, I think, 47 other bidders. She's very popular. And so I hope I don't get in trouble. And so let's pray to Saint Rita that my husband does not scream and yell when he gets the bill. Okay, so let's find out a little bit more about vendetta. Also, why is she the saint of impossible causes, like St. Jude? What about the roses? Okay, what about the roses? All right, we're going to find out about the roses. Basically, the impossible. So when she was laying in her deathbed, she asked for a relative. They asked her, what would you like from home? And she was away from home, and she said a rose, and they said, impossible. You can't get a rose. It's January. It's winter. There's no roses blooming. And so the family member went back to her garden while she lay in a different location and found the whole entire rose bush was dead, except for one fresh blooming rose. And the relative brought it back to her. So there you go. That's a sign or a symbolism of hope. She also suffered from the stigmata. Scientists have checked her body, which, by the way, she is incorruptible. What is that, boys and girls? Incorruptible is when your body does not decay like a normal body upon death. And so her body is still on display in a glass case for everyone to see. And so her body is incorruptible. And they did some kind of like scientific test on her forehead and found there is somewhat of a thorn-like Jesus's crown of thorns, some kind of thorn-like thing stuck into her forehead. So this isn't a lie. This isn't a made-up story. So let's go over vendettas. Let's go over roses. Let's go over incorruptible. And by the way, she was canonized by Pope Leo XIII in 1900. This particular relic was probably put together in this theca around the 1940s, 1950s, I would guess. It does not have the original certificate, but we do know that it is real and it is not Memorex. All right, so I'm going to put this in what's called a reliquary really fast, show you how pretty it looks. You need to do this. This is the care of your relics. If you do get a relic, by the way, you're really not allowed to buy them. It's against the Catholic rule for us to get these first and second class relics on eBay or in flea markets or at thrift stores. And it's even worse, by the way, if you sell it. So whoever sold this, if they're a Catholic, they committed something called simony. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. And it's a sin, a major sin that may stop you from even getting to heaven. So hopefully this person was not a Roman Catholic and is not going to get in trouble for this. Am I going to get in trouble for this? I don't know. I hope not. Right, so our roses are waiting. We're actually waiting for the arrival of Saint Rita. And you can see I have a lot of relics. And what do you need, boys and girls? You need to protect your relic that you get, whether from a thrift store or an antique shop or eBay or a flea market or a garage sale, in a reliquary. And these reliquaries are not cheap. I am going to tell you that much right now. Generally you can find a cheap one on Amazon, which is not so cheap, probably about $80. But generally these are about 100 to about 800 to even 1,000 or more, depending on if it's brass plated or if it's gold plated. And so you might even spend more on the reliquary than on the actual relic itself. And so again, you should not be buying these things. I am not a Catholic priest. I am not a church member. So I cannot sit here and chastise you for this. It's everybody has free will. So let's go ahead and let's go segue on to find more about this wonderful, wonderful, amazing saint and a story in video form of her.
Rita was born in a little town near Cascia, Italy in 1381 to parents who were respected as peacemakers for their town, bringing conflicting parties together to resolve their differences peacefully. Their daughter learned well from them, for she herself was to display very effective skills in this area. Rita was attracted to the Augustinian convent at a young age, but her parents thought that marriage would provide safety and security for her. So they arranged a marriage to Paolo Mancini, to which Rita obediently acceded. She gave birth to 2 sons, who were in their early adolescence when their father was murdered. Rita pledged to forgive her husband's murderer, but she feared that her sons, who were angry in their grief, would retaliate to avenge their family's honor, and therefore endanger their souls by committing murder. In constant prayer, Rita begged God for guidance and completely entrusted her sons to God's care. The answer came in the form of a deadly illness, which afflicted the entire town. Among the casualties, her 2 young sons. Burdened now with the added grief of losing her children, Rita placed her trust in God for consolation. She turned to the local Augustinian convent, considering that perhaps she was being called by God to be a nun after all, but found the nuns unwilling to accept her. The scourge of vendetta colored their willingness to accept her, and would be too great a threat to the peace of the convent, in which there were members of the family that had killed Rita's husband. Even though the nuns understood that Rita held no grudge herself, the danger lurked while the 2 families were still at odds. And so Rita embarked on a quest to make peace between the families, considered a near impossibility. But with the help of her patron saints, John the Baptist, Augustine, and Nicholas of Tolentine, Rita managed to persuade her husband's family and the family of those who had killed him to forswear vengeance, thereby committing themselves to a peaceful relationship witnessed by a written agreement. She had done what had been considered impossible. This led to her acceptance by the Augustinian nuns, where she remained for 40 years. In that span, she lived faithfully the community life, encouraged by St. Augustine in his rule, dedicating herself to prayer and contemplation. In the 25th year of her religious life, Rita is reputed to have been absorbed in adoration before an image of Jesus, which was very dear to her, Jesus of Holy Saturday, also known as the Resurgent Christ. This depiction of Christ in the tomb, beginning to awaken to life, moved her to request that she participate in the suffering of Christ in some way. And in this moment of ecstatic union, a thorn from Jesus' crown penetrated Rita's forehead, and the wound remained open and visible until her death. In the last years of her life, a progressively weakened condition kept Rita confined to bed for long periods of time. Despite this debilitating illness, Rita was completely at peace and ever thankful to God for the great consolation she had always received from him, even during her most difficult challenges. On one occasion, several months before she died, Rita was visited by a relative from her hometown. In the course of her reminiscing, her cousin asked Rita if there was something she might do for her. Rita asked her cousin to bring her a rose from the garden in her former home, but the cousin was disappointed because it was January, the middle of winter. However, upon returning home, when she passed the home of Rita, to her astonishment, she saw a single fresh rose on an otherwise dry and barren bush. She immediately brought it to the convent to Rita, who understood it to be a sign from God that her husband, who had died so violently, and her sons, who had died so young, were enjoying eternal peace. She knew that she would soon join them. Rita died peacefully on May 22nd, 1457. An old and revered tradition records that the bells of the convent immediately began to peal, unaided by human hands, calling the people of Cascia to the doors of the convent and announcing the triumphant completion of a life faithfully lived. The sorrows and disappointments which had marked Rita's life now passed into history. What remained were the consoling words she heard from her beloved Jesus. Come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. So many people wanted to look upon the gentle face of the peacemaker of Cascia one last time, to touch her hand, or to ask her prayers, that Rita's burial was delayed, to the point that it never took place, for it was clear that something exceptional was occurring. Rather than undergo the ordinary process of decay, it seemed as though this body, once touched by an instrument of Christ's love and passion, was to be free from nature's usual course. It is still preserved today, now in a glass coffin, in the Basilica of Cascia. The process of canonization was a long one. Rita was declared a blessed in 1628, but it was in 1900 that she was formally declared a saint by Pope Leo XIII, who referred to her as the precious pearl of Umbria. Devotion to Saint Rita as a peacemaker, healer, and patroness of impossible cases is very strong throughout the world. One means of expressing that devotion is the novena of prayers. This litany of praises for Saint Rita is followed by prayers of petition for her intercession and helping the petitioner to be a peacemaker like her. Particular requests are often sought. There is a pause in the novena prayers, allowing for those special requests to be acknowledged.
So Saint Rita has made it here on Long Island. I'm nervous. I'm nervous to be in the presence of such greatness. And wow, just wow. Now I know why I got into a bidding war. Apparently she's very, very holy. And I like the vendetta story. What's your favorite part of the story? Tell me in the comments below. Was it the amazing rose that grew in the winter? Was it the fact that her body was incorruptible? Or was it the vendetta? Now, I am Italian. Well, I consider myself full Italian, although my DNA says French and Spanish Basque, something called Basque and Scottish. And I'm like, what? I didn't even know that I was Basque, but whatever. So, but I know about vendettas. I grew up in Queens, Brooklyn, New York, the border of Brooklyn, where Italians actually had vendettas. My mother told me about vendettas. And so it's amazing she actually stopped them from having the family, from killing each other at the very end and brought peace. But the scary part, this is the part that it was celebrated that she prayed that her sons did not kill her husband's murderers and that they ended up dying. She prayed that they would die. Well, I looked that up and I'm like, why would she be happy about that? It's because instead of them murdering the rival family that killed the father and her husband, she figured if they did that, they would go to hell. So it was better than them going to hell from them dying from a fatal disease, her twin sons. Interesting. The Bible sometimes, and biblical characters and saints can be very scary, boys and girls. So write in the comments below what you find the most interesting about Saint Rita. And if you have any more information you want to share with us. Thanks for watching. See you guys all soon, and so long.